Hey guys, this is Julian from the Binary Lab. In this video, I want to talk about the science of why it is that most people trade better on a demo account versus a live one. So, did you guys actually know there was a science to it? So, in this video, I want to kind of share that with you, and so you have a better understanding of why this happens and why is it that you're the super A superstar, and you could go from 10,000 to 1 million within a very short time on your demo account, even without taking big risks, but you just cannot repeat the same thing once you go live, even if it's a small amount. All right, have any of you ever experienced that? Well, I know that I'm speaking to a fairly large sample of people, and most of you, in fact, I think all of you who actually clicked into this video probably, came in here to see because you have been doing well on demo, but for whatever reason, you just cannot figure out why you're not doing well on live. And I think if there's anyone watching this video who does better on live than on demo, I think and you saw the title yet you clicked in, you must be quite an oddball. But anyway, it's fine. I want to explain this psychology to all of you, and even for those people who are currently doing as well or better on the live than on the demo. When you understand these principles, because I guarantee you that you definitely use it at some time. um, and I'll also show you like some solution on how you can deal with it. Okay, so why do people do better in demo than on live? Well, I'm not talking about like spam trading. By the way, when I say that people generally do better on demo than on live, I'm actually making the assumption that you are not trading irresponsibly. You're trading in fixed trade sizes. You're not doing anything crazy. You're not so-called like stoning, or you're not like spamming the clicker. You get what I'm saying, right? You're not making unrealistic doublings of your trade sizes, or you're not trading anything that is beyond what the trading platform will usually offer people on live. So I'm making all these assumptions and basically speaking to some of you out there, in fact many of you out there, who have been able to do some good results on demo but just have not been able to replicate it when you go live. And sometimes this even happens for some of people who maybe they follow what I used to recommend, which I still do in fact, which is to take a few breadcrumb trades in the market. This could either be very small trades or even demo trades, to ensure that you're getting the rhythm for the day, and then you cross into the live trading. So there's some people that are very good in doing these breadcrumb warm-up trades, but once they go into the live trading, they find that on the first trade they're stuck, okay, and they just feel so mentally jammed. So there are a couple of reasons why I do it. Why this happens. Okay, the first reason is hesitation. Okay, hesitation is the first reason, because you're thinking that it's live and you think that there's a live impact. You lose the ability to be spontaneous. Spontaneity is very important. Hesitation is the opposite of spontaneity, and what actually helps me do well, even in if you watch my in 5 trades or less videos, right? I'm very spontaneous. I see something sometimes, or if you watch me on a live webinar, sometimes even before I can explain what this trade is, I'm already in it. So this is why spontaneity is very important. But this is just the first step. Spontaneity is something that everyone can improve. And you can improve this simply by, like kind of trying to censor yourself less. Okay? About taking a leap of faith. If you find that it's too big a leap to take, then take smaller leaps. For instance, reduce the size until you're comfortable. It's perfectly fine, to be trading just very small amounts and only move up when you're ready. When the results speak for itself that you should move up. Okay? Make gradual steps forward in terms of your trading sizes. But now, okay, this is what you're really here to listen to. What you're really here to listen to is that, did you know there's a scientific reason as to why most people do better in demo than on live? And the reason is the fight or flight response. How many of you ever got punched in the face, or how many of you got hit in the rear bumper of your car by the car behind? And how many people ever got robbed? How many of you ever got ripped off by someone, okay, or got cheated? Okay, and how did you feel in these situations? I want you to remember. Or let's say if you got hit by, like some of you got, maybe you got slapped by a spouse. Okay, um, how did you react in these situations on a physical, no, on a biochemical level is the correct word. Not on a physical level, on a biochemical level. Did you feel what people describe to be blood boiling, the boiling of your blood? You feel suddenly this heat in your body. All right. Do you feel like tingling sensations in your fingers? Okay. Or do you feel a dryness of your throat, a strong beating of your heart? Do you feel these things? Okay. When you are trading live. Okay. So very often these things happen, and let's say sometimes we all do make mistakes, and when we make mistakes on the demo on our life, it's very different because we make mistakes on the demo and well, at least it's not on the live, right? Sometimes we get careless, right? I was talking about carelessness and all that in the previous video, but sometimes when we get careless and it's on a live account, and we're like, oh gosh, we gotta wait the time out before we can have it set in stone that and know and understand for the fact that we have lost, right? Painful feeling, and like the anger, the self-doubt, the frustration. And where do you think that takes the blood flow? When we are feeling all these biochemical reactions in our body, okay, what do you think happened to the blood that was originally in our head? Do you think it's still there? Do you think it's still there? No, it's not. It's not there anymore. Obviously, it's gone to your fingertips. It's gone to your chest area. It's gone to your throat. It's gone to your forearms. Probably your clenching, or even to your jaw. You're biting your teeth. Anywhere, where it needs to be, which is here, which is where we need the blood flow to be for your calm decisions. Can I also tell you a very short story? This was like, it's kind of funny because I recently bumped into two of my ex schoolmates who we didn't spend that much time talking. They kind of vaguely know and remember that they may have met me and spoke to me in the past, but it was only when they remembered that I used to be this guy selling supplements in school, and there was one particular supplement for those of you who work out. It's called creatine, and one of the best supplements ever. It's so good for performance, but that was not the only supplement that I sold. Okay, so basically, I sold creatine, I sold protein, I parallel imported these, and basically that's how I made money as a high school kid. But one of the best selling items, which was also the one of the items that now and the only item that nearly got me suspended from school, was something called ma huang or ephedra. Okay, so it's a stimulant, right? And right now, it's actually classified as a psychotropic substance, or rather, a substance that people can abuse, a stimulant that people can abuse. So back then, it wasn't yet the case. Back then, it was still fairly over the counter. Asia didn't really have it. In fact, Asia at the time, for many of the weight loss supplements, they didn't have ma huang in it. But in the US, at a point in time, it was still legal to be sold over the counter and obviously over the internet as well. So I basically parallel imported a lot of this, and it sold very well. Why? Because I came from a sports school, Anglo Chinese school. It was really good for most of the sports, like especially like rugby, um, track and field, swimming, especially. These were just some of the main sports, but obviously the badminton, it was good at just basically every sport. And it all came down to a water polo match. Okay, um, like I mentioned, many swimmers bought my supplement because they realized that when they take this supplement, the Ma Huang supplement, they could hit personal best. Or in a way, you can call it cheating, because what this really does is that it actually calms the mind of where your physical limitations are, and you can actually push beyond that. Okay, and people in the rugby team, they could hit their personal best in terms of weightlifting, or rather like their one rep max. They could increase their one rep max by about 20-30%. It was crazy. um, Personally, when I took it, I could shave off as much as like 2 minutes off my cross country run time, because I typically don't push myself hard enough, and it was something that it helped me easily do once I took it. So here's the thing, okay? If it's something that help people to hit their personal best in terms of physical performance, what do you think it did for the mental performance aspect? I think you can kind of figure this out. Um, Basically, the people in the water polo team, who are also usually they were all on the swimming team, but they also play water polo, right? So in the water polo match, well, yeah, they could tread water really well, better than usual. They could swim super fast, but the thing is that they lost sense of strategy, and it was more than one person. Several people in the team were not being able to pay attention as they usually would for the cues, the the bellows from the team members, about strategy, about passing the ball and all that. Just like their mind basically was like they complained to the teacher there was like a blank because they had taken a supplement that they bought from me. So that's why, and that was like a happened to be one of those uh, grudge matches the school had. It was a invitation match, but unfortunately, you know, when my school's team typically won, they actually lost because a few people just kind of they broke the formation. They were not paying attention to one another. They were not listening out for cues and all that. So ultimately, it became my fault. So that's why I almost got suspended. All right. Needless to say, I didn't get to sell it anymore, but but you can see where my entrepreneurial traits started. Okay. But anyways, coming back to the story, it's the same thing. When you're in a fight or flight response, the blood is no longer here. So the question is, how can we bring it back to here so that we can trade well? Wouldn't you be interested to know? Um, Breathing, let me just give you a basic tip, okay? Like, what do most people, psychologists and all that, tell you to do? Like, let's say if you're really anxious, let's say take a deep breath. Right? Take a deep breath, maybe a few. Take some deep breaths, and this will actually help calm yourself down. Because most of the time we're in a fight or flight response, we are pushing ourselves. Do you think we're remembering to breathe? Not really, right? We're not really remembering to breathe. So, or we're not breathing as we should. Those of you who play sports like tennis, you know this because like sometimes when you stop playing for a long period of time, you forget the breathing pattern involved, and as a result of that, you get short of breath very often, and you found that you're like blacking out. Okay, so this is the reason what happens. But when you bring the breaths back in, when you try to oxygenate your body, and you find that you can once again start thinking about strategy, and the same is the case with trading. So you need to oxygenate your brain. One of the bonuses that I have in the Binary Lab Elite, which I will be actually teaching to my members in this week's webinar, okay? And I'll also be teaching this to people in my Forex group, okay? Actually, I think this is more relevant to people in my binary group than the Forex group, actually, because there's more like a pressure cooker environment. Forex has a lot of time to think. So I'll be introducing that at the right time for Forex, but for binary, I think it's instantly important, and this is something that I'll be sharing with people in the Binary Lab Elite community. So this is like a bonus. Of course, there are a lot of deep breathing exercises that you can do, but there's one that works really well, and this is one that I was using just recently on the Sunday, when I came back from days of mastermind in Phuket, where the mentor Mark Joyner, he's crazy about working out, and therefore like there's also so much good food at the event. I ate a lot and I worked out extra so I could actually afford to eat a lot. So when I went for tennis on Sunday, I was super sore in my body. 45 minutes in, I was not having fun. I was doing everything very sluggish, and I was like, oh shit, 15 minutes more. This is not quite what I imagined. I didn't actually change my flight from 3:20 to 11:30 p.m. the night before, just so that I could be sluggish on tennis court and not have a good time. Okay, you guys heard about this in my video about decisions, right? So when my hitting partner went off to get another bottle of water and also a toilet break, I had about 2-3 minutes there, and I did this breathing method, okay, that was taught to me at this event, and I found that it's super effective, and I basically did that for a solid 2-3 minutes, and the result of that was that when I resumed hitting tennis again with my partner, I realized that a lot of the lactic acid that was making my body feel sluggish had actually been discharged. Amazing, right? And on top of that, I was like, if that could do that, if that could restore a lot of good movement and spring into my stride and my step and my twisting of the body, what if I did that between points? So I tried doing this between points in tennis, and typically, like the game standard is that you want to spend only about 20 seconds between points. Like there's a lot of coaches and players who will talk about the 20 seconds rule, so that let's say if you're on a winning streak, you want to keep it up. You don't want the opponent to find his rhythm and then break you back. So it's so important. But in order to pull this off, you need a high level of fitness. But what I discovered is that if I use this breathing method, I can augment. Okay, the word is augment. I can augment the way my body respires and my pulse even. Okay, I can very quickly bring down my pulse rate with this method. I can very quickly, in doing so, also reduce my stress and kind of bring back my calm very very quickly within a few breaths. Less than 20 seconds, I'm more than ready for the next point. How do I do this? Okay, this is something else that I'll be sharing in the Binary Lab Elite. So if you guys are looking to raise your game in trading, you want to step up into the Binary Lab Elite, because we're adding so many things inside. But I know for a fact that some people out here watching this video, you're here just starting out. So if you're starting out, you want some fast results, I think you should go for Martingale Mastered. But then again, let me take that back, because a lot of people here, if you have already experienced the fact that you have already experienced good results in your demo trading, but just that you cannot replicate it properly in your life, then you actually want to be taking the Binary Lab Basics program. Okay, the Binary Lab Basics program is going to cover a lot more things that maybe you may not know. And knowledge is power. Wouldn't you agree with that? All right. If you knew more about the markets, wouldn't you be more prepared to be able to trade it the better way? Okay. And so that will definitely help you improve from where you're at right now, and it will give you a lot more confidence, especially in my lessons about backtesting, which is covered inside the program. And finally, for those of you who really want to improve your mental game, and you guys probably know by now how important the mental game is, and that's why I only want to reserve this technique. Okay, right now we're teaching it for the Binary Lab Elite. Right now, maybe when I eventually do scalping my forex group on a more intensive level, I'll actually be teaching it there as well. But the Binary Lab Elite people need this. It's part of improving your mental game, so that you can have the capacity and the capability for more high level wins in your trading. So I've got some links below, and basically, if this has been one of your questions, it's like, what's the scientific reason as to why I always tend to do better in demo than on live? Okay, then basically I hope you found the answer in this video. And if you have some other question that you would like my feedback, or let's say some of you have been looking at the Binary Lab Elite, but you're not really sure if I can solve the problem that you have, then why don't you actually write into the page? Actually, this applies for all my programs. Write into the page if there's something that you really wish to have solved, and I can tell you in which program there's a solution to your problem, and let's say in that program, how will I have fixed your problem? Make sense? Good to go? Good trading. Check out the links in the video, and I hope to see you in one of my programs. And for those of you, if you really struggle with this a lot, to the point that you're not being profitable, the point that you're constantly losing money, or let's say you're having days where you're winning, but finally there's a day that you lose a lot of what you've gained, then I think this program, the Binary Lab Elite, is definitely for you. Because as you guys know, when you lose money in your account, when you do come back, it's because, well, why? You had salary that come in again. Salary kicks in every maybe twice a month, every 1 month, so you know that your money is constantly being replenished, but your time is not being replenished. Maybe you start out trading because you had a vision that you wanted to improve your part-time income. You wanted to supplement, maybe you're saving up for a marriage or a car upgrade or something like that. But the more time that you spend wasting, or taking three steps forward and then 9 steps back, okay, the more time you spend wasting that, it takes you further and further away from your goal. So the cost of the Binary Lab Elite really is actually to keep you on track to your goal and get there a lot quicker with all these mental hacks, all right, that could be so useful for your trading. In the meantime, I understand that some of you may not be ready, but I highly recommend you check it out anyway. But if you're not ready, stick with what I mentioned, okay? Try and train on your hesitation, and also the deep breathing. But when you come in, I tell you, when you learn even this breathing method, it will be worthwhile for your whole for the whole cost that you pay for the binding liability. Bye for now, good trading.